Hello, my name is Rachel, and I wanted to talk to you about a book called Signs in the Heavens by Marilyn Hickey. And this book is, I saw this lady talking on YouTube, and she wrote a book, and I had to order this book, and it is just really amazing the things that she has found. And there's other videos on YouTube about this from other people also. But basically, this talks about how there's stars in the sky that tells the plan of God's salvation ever since the beginning of the earth. So she first starts to talk about how the study of the zodiac, we should not ever use the study as like horoscopes or telling the future, or those kind of things. Those are wicked and evil. We should stay away from those. Then she goes to talk about in Genesis 1 through 14, it says, "Then God said, let there be light in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day into night, and let them be for signs and seasons and for days and nights." And she pulls out that word signs, and she says God is saying signs as in things that we can look up in the sky and see that things are happening here on earth. And so I can kind of understand where she's coming from, because there's the story of the Star of Bethlehem, and the wise men followed the star. They had to know about that star at some point in time, so how did they know? Probably a sign from God. So it's just, I can understand where she's coming from with that verse. And then she talks about Psalms 19, 1 through 2. It says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament work shows his handiwork. Day and night utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge." So she's saying that the night reveals the knowledge of God's plans for salvation. Then in Psalms 147, verse 4, she says, "He counts the numbers of the stars. He knows them all by name." So God's named all the stars, and we'll talk about that later on in this next chapter here. She talks about how blood moons, how blood moons and different celebrations that God had given his people, Pentecost, the Feast of Trumpets, had all revolved around the stars and the moon, and the different seasons. That's all about the stars and the moon. So anyways, she first goes to Virgo. And she talks about, and the picture of Virgo is a woman, and she's holding some wheat in one hand and a branch in the other hand. Okay, so she says that the figure of Virgo holding the sheaf of wheat in the left hand, and within is the constellation of the brightest star called Spice, which means seed. So this seed right here is called Spica, and it actually is translated into seed. And then Virgo actually is translated into virgin. And so what she's saying is, this constellation says the virgin is carrying the seed. Then the branch here represents the virgin from the branch, talking about the branch of David. Okay. So a star on the branch is called Sublin, which means branch. Okay. So that's supposed to be Jesus is the branch. He comes from the line, the tree of David through Mary. Okay. Then it talks about the second figure is a woman holding a baby, and that's a picture of the Virgin Mary and Jesus. A star in that on the baby is called coma, and that star means the desired one. So here is the mother holding the baby, and that star is called the desired one, or translates into the desired one. Then the next one is a man. His name is Boots. Boots. Okay, so he's holding a staff and a sickle, and that represents Jesus is the good shepherd, and the sickle represents Jesus harvesting souls. Okay, the boo and boots means the coming one. And the last one is the centurion, which is the half horse, half man. And I was like, how in the world how is this going to relate to Jesus at all? But it does. It says, for he is both the Son of Man and the Son of God, dual nature. Okay. And then it talks about the sword that he was holding, and that's a representation of the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. A deacon star in the centurion is called, or it doesn't have the name of it, but it's translated into the despised, which we can find that in the Bible, which says he is despised and rejected by men. So that's what that represents. Okay, so if this is true, if God's plan for salvation is written in the stars, that is amazing to me. I want to know more about it, and I also want to know why we don't know. Well, I know why we don't know. It's because if it's true, the devil has been trying to conceal this truth from us. So I can understand that, like, the ancient Jews would have known about this, because Job talks a lot about stars, and God probably told them, this is the star's name, this is what this means, and so they knew what they were, okay, but they didn't know what they meant. Like, they didn't know what a virgin birth meant, and a shepherd, like, how is that God's plan? We know what that means, though. But yeah, we don't know what the stars mean. So yeah, I just think it's amazing. Most of these constellation translations, for lack of a better word, that she has in here make a lot of sense to me. This one right here, I love. I have to go through it. It's a what is it? Libra, and there's a crown, and this is a scale. It's a bad picture of a scale, but it's like a scale, like a weighing scale, like in the ancient days, like right here, like this one right here. So it's a scale, and then this is supposed to be a lamb. It looks like a dead dog, but it's a lamb. And then this is obviously a cross. Okay, so this represents the king is coming. We have debt. Like, he's evening the scales. He's cleaning our debt. Because he's going to die as a lamb on the cross. So if this is true, that is a beautiful, beautiful picture of God. And I want to know more about it. I think it's, if this is true, it's really exciting. But even if it's not true, I think there's no harm in looking up in the skies and different things reminding of us of God, as long as we're not using it to try to, I don't know, foretell the future or whatever. But I think that this is beautiful. I would love to hear your guys' opinions about this, and hear if you think it's good, bad, ugly, whatever. One more thing I want to say is that she went to Jewish temple, and it was in Jerusalem. It was a Jewish temple, and it was an old Jewish temple. And up on the walls were written the zodiac. And she was like, "Why are the zodiac written up on the walls? That's pagan. Like, why would that be here in a Jewish temple?" So she went home and researched it, and found out from her studies that these were God signs before they were pagan signs. And that the Jews used them as prophecy and teaching and signs of things that were coming. So, yeah, if you guys agree, disagree, I'd love to hear it. And I'd love to hear some feedback from you guys. So, thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day. Bye.